says Noah really acted entitled. Malia made it clear she was not feeling him or interested in him. So why did he come back acting like they had plans? He seems unstable. Yes, I think Noah did seem very unstable. And I don't feel like the way he acted was in a way that I've never seen somebody behave. Again, people don't understand the word no. No. They think that no is a starting point for negotiations. And I would say that that is some form of instability because if I can't get you to go away at the bar and I'm telling you no, I better not ever date you because that'll, yeah, mm-mm, no. No means no. It's not maybe, it's not possibly, it's no. So yeah, Noah acted very entitled and he really showed his behind. He felt like Malia gave him some form of attention or was kind to him, and he was like, you know what? I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna give her a moonlit cruise. She didn't ask for that cruise. She didn't ask. I mean, I hate to be that person, because I'm not about male bashing or whatever. But it is sickening when you tell somebody something and they feel like they got the cure for cancer. And you're saying, I'm trying to help you out. I didn't ask for your help. No. I remember it was years ago. There was this man who came at me at the grocery store. He's like, it's really hot today. It's going to be 98 degrees. And I was like, mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, so I have a wall unit at my apartment. Yeah. And, we could maybe we could just go get some beers and chill in my bedroom, and stay cool, to beat the heat. And I was like, no, I'm okay. And he just kept going and going. And everybody in line was like, sir, this woman is telling you she's not interested in you in your wall unit. She don't want none, And I was thinking, you're going to try to pimp somebody on one of the hottest days of the year? I got a wall unit at my house to give you a cold beer. I was like, this is so predatorial. And I didn't even tell him, sir, I own a home. And in my home, I have central air. So my house stays very nice and cold on days like I didn't even tell him. I was just like, that's okay. And he's just like, okay, And then he left before I did. And some of the people were like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. They're like, do you know him? Absolutely, I don't. And they were just like, he just couldn't take a hint, could he? And I was like, I was trying not to be rude about it. Went outside to the car and he was just like, hey. And he just stares me down with the evil eye. You sure you don't want some of that AC? I'm very sure. He goes, give me your phone number. I was like, and this other guy was looking at me like, what is happening? I'll just give you my number. I was just like done at that point. Like I didn't know what to say. He was unstable and he didn't understand. I'm not interested in your wall unit. Not interested in you. You never even asked me, are you even available? Would you like to go on a date? You're trying to get somebody to come back to your house on the first day of meeting them. You're gonna lure them there with AC and beer. It's unheard of.
I know what to get her.
Yeah, and I was like, why are you assuming that I don't have central air? Like, why are you assuming that I don't have a wall unit? Why are you assuming that I need your services? That was a really bad day for me.
You look hot.
Girl, that was such a bad day for me. Like, I went to the store earlier because I was like in between classes. And so me and my friend were like, let's run to the convenience store. So this lady, she was homeless, right? And so she was, like talking to me like, hey, and I was like, hi. And so I went inside, paid for my stuff, and I was like, I got like $3 in my pocket. It's not a lot of money, but I could give it to her because I could tell when people are gonna get ready to beg you. So I already be ready with that little dollar or two. And so she was like, hey, and I was like, hey, and I was reaching in my pocket, and she was like, do you know what I would do to you? I was like, wait a minute, what? She was like, I would just lick you up and down. I'm thinking, oh my God, what is happening? I'm being hit on by a homeless woman who looks dirty. Like, what is happening? And she was like, do you like girls? And I was like, no, and I'm married. And she's just like, well, if you take me back home, I'll lick you up. I'll give you a bath. Telling me. And I was like, no, ma'am. So that was already a bad day for me. I got hit on by a homeless woman who let me know she could eat the box real good. I didn't want none of it. None of it. And then man who thought I needed his AC unit, like in his wall or window, whatever it was. I was like, can I not escape the madness that people try to put on me? But yeah, our stories be so crazy. I'd be like, this don't even sound like it really happened, but they happen. People are so entitled.
Girl, yes. I think this scene with Noah is another depiction of men leading with their wallets. You know, he talked to
Yeah,
Malia for a few minutes, he sized her up, and he was like, you know what? I think I know what will get her. You know, and he's like, I know this cruise, this moonlit, escapade out on the water, that's gonna make them panties come down.
yeah, that's all about the pennies.
So
All
yeah, he clearly wasted his time, and
he really did.
if more men would stop doing that and have an actual freaking conversation, they wouldn't waste their time. Then they wouldn't have to get all upset and bothered because they made up a whole scenario in their mind instead of talking. She's a human being. She's a woman. She has a dialogue. She can respond. She can say yes or no, I'm not interested.
They don't have to offer her gifts and money. And I feel like, and men do it because it works, you know? Because there are
True.
women out there who fall for the foolishness. Like I've had the guys who be like, oh, I can take you out and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm in a relationship. I've had men, like, you say, I'll pay all your bills. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you $100 right now just for your phone number. Why would you? I just told you I was in a relationship. Why are you doing this?
That
You
is
know what I'm
very,
saying?
very
And
true.
so it's like, because it works. You know, people are like, why do people do this? And I'm always like that too. But I'm like, they do it because it's worked in the past. Literally, to have people offer me, I got cash on me right now. I'll give you my phone number. If I'll give you, you give me your phone number. So you pay $100 for my number. You know what? I didn't even think about. I should have just gave him like a Google number or something like that. Like, hold on, let me download this app. I got that one. But then I'd be watching my back every time I went to that store. Like, he gonna show up for his investment. He didn't
Right.
get the right number.
I want my money back.
That's, yeah, I want my $100 back. And so it works. A lot of people start flashing a little bit of this and that and the other, and I'm so glad that that doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not saying that you having some nice things, I'm like, wow, that's really awesome, but it's not gonna make me be like, oh, what else do you have if you have a cruise ship? Like, I don't care. I remember when I was growing up, my aunt, with my aunt, she's passed away now, but she was very beautiful, and so she could just about have any man she wanted. She was that chick, right? And so she would just be like, I'm gonna marry me a doctor. I'm marrying me somebody who's rich because he gonna take care of me. And I remember being like 5 years old one time. I was watching Nickelodeon on Saturday morning, and she just kept talking about some. Oh, and my husband's gonna be so rich, he gonna buy me all this. And I was like, what? Like, what are we talking about here? I'm surprised I didn't get hurt for even interrupting the conversation. But I was like, what? I was like, why do you have to marry a man to be rich? She's like, I want to marry me a doctor or a lawyer if they got money. And I was like, well, you could always just become a doctor or a lawyer yourself. So, ain't nobody got time for that. But that was the way I thought as a child. I was like, why are you putting all this pressure on somebody else to give you the life that you want? Aren't you capable of creating the life you want? I'm not interested in finding somebody and he has to have all the bells and whistles or all I want. No, like, we could build this thing together. Like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you come, I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna send you back. No, but I'm not out here gonna just be looking for a specific person out here chasing jerseys and stuff like that. Like, that's crazy to me. If you want wealth, if you want finances, get with the program, sis. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Get working on your
that's so
goals.
funny. It's so funny. I always seem to forget that there are women out here going for it, and looking for it and going for it.
Going for it.
It's so
Going
true because it's just like, when we think, why are men this way? It's because it's worked. You
It's
hit the nail
working.
on the head with that one.
it's
So
it's
true.
working, and people don't have to show kindness or respect to you. They can just mistreat you and offer you a gift. um, Again, we teach people how to treat us by the things that we allow into our lives. And so if you talking crazy to somebody or screaming at somebody is a loud behavior, they're not going to stop doing it. But if you talk crazy to somebody and they get away from you, it might make you think twice later on if you get with somebody else, because if she ghosted me, that last chick, it's probably going to happen again. So, no. And I think that, like, anybody who, like, I got a cruise ship for you, and she's like, oh, okay, well, let me grab my purse, like, that would be somebody I'd be like, no. Because when I didn't have those things to offer you, you didn't want me. Now all of a sudden, You think that I have deep pockets, and you like, oh, he about to buy the bar, baby. Papi Chulo about to make it happen for mommy. No, 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 no. That's not the person that you want to be with. And we have women out here using men and men using women, and it's like folks are leading, baby. Some people
Exactly.
are
And what does
leading
he
with
want in
body
return?
parts, and sexual deeds, and other people are leading with, I'll put some money on your rent or something. No thanks. Mm-mm.
Exactly. And what does he want in return for that late night on the water
Oh, you
escapade?
know what he wanted. It was a whole bed set up downstairs, honey, with
Hmm.
some candles.
So
I'll
he's
take you
not
back and
just being
forth.
nice, ladies. He's not just giving you that water cash for nothing.
Take that cash and run, like Monica did. When that man left that money on that table, you was like, I'm gonna wait for
Oh,
him to get out.
yes. I would not. I mean, I was just like, oh no, I'm good. But he left it in, I waited to
Yeah,
see him drive off because I was like, mm-mm.
like, you ain't gonna get me up and throw me in the back of the trunk with them purses and shoes.
Yeah, there are men really out here doing it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who are just they become enamored by the cash, and so they're like, I'll just go with it.
Mhm.
So I think the next question
Next
is,
question. Bloody Noah. Bloody Noah has a whole fiance while out here trying to prey on innocent women. Have any of you ladies ever encountered a man who was in a relationship but wanted you? If so, what did you do? Well, well. You don't know what you don't know. But then when I found out, yeah, I did end things. Yeah, yeah, it it's so much that goes into that story.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this particular person, he had told me that he was divorced, even showed me paperwork and everything, and so I was like, oh, okay, had some confirmation. And get confirmation too, because they'll tell you what they want you to hear anyway. So, but yeah, we were dating for a few months, and you know, things didn't work out, so we ended up, splitting up, and I think he circled back around a year or two later, and then
they
we
always
tried to
come
get
back.
things to go again, and then I think about like a year after we had tried for a relationship again. His wife actually called me, she had messaged me or something, and then we ended up getting on the phone together and comparing notes.
Oh Lord.
And then she gave me access to his emails and all that, and yeah, I just busted the whole
The
thing
wife
wide
says, I
open.
want you to know what type of slime this is.
Yeah, and so I was just like, because she was angry with me, and I was just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, hold on." There's two sides to every story, and so I was just like, "Just let me show you what I got," before you're attacking me, because I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know. I
Just
promise you.
put that weight back on your husband. Focus
Right,
on the
right. I
girl.
don't know
You
why
mad,
are
you
women
mad at the
always
wrong
upset with the
person.
other woman. Like, be upset with the nigga with the dudes that's doing this.
Yeah, girl, you have to sometimes go there and say it. Be upset with that nigga, not me.
Yeah. So
Nobody take you from nobody. Like you have to willingly open up that
I'm
door and
not.
leave
I'm
them.
not fighting over no man.
No.
If you don't want to hear me out, you don't want to see my receipts and my notes, and hey, because then I mean, you can have them. I'm not fighting over nobody. You're not
No, it
coming
is
after me
never
like I
that
did something
serious.
to you, but yeah, we were able to talk it out, and then after we compared notes and everything, she realized it was it was all on him, and I wasn't being sneaky with him behind her back. So yeah, and then it was a whole full exposure thing that went down. So yeah.
Listen, and I'm not one who advocates for the sneaky links or anything like that. But I am gonna always say you have to put it back on the person who's in the relationship. People are like, well, people shouldn't do this. People shouldn't. But I'm gonna say that the responsibility solely falls on the person that's their relationship. Because I ain't never calling nobody else. "Oh, you've been talking to my husband. I'm not addressing her. I'm not addressing no. I'm addressing him because he's the one that I marry. He's the one who's got to answer to me for whatever it is that he's up there doing. I'm not calling no other chick. And stop that. Stop that. Go holler at him. And unless you're, I don't know, maybe calling because you want to compare notes or find out more information. That's one thing. But when you trying to call somebody like, yeah, because you ain't nothing but a home wrecker. Your husband wrecked that home,
Right.
okay? Or your wife wrecked the home. They open up a door. And that's really on them. And now you got to decide what you want to do, because it's really easy to get mad at that person. So you got to be mad at somebody. You got to put the blame back on your spouse, because they're the ones who opened up that door. Have I ever had a situation like that? Yeah, I did. I had a guy that I was really feeling, and he would always come by my job, and he would hang out with me. And I guess I should have saw that was like a red flag. Like I should have saw the fact that he was like, I was in the neighborhood and I just wanted to come by your job. And so we would just sit down and like talk, 20, 30 minutes. He would come on like his lunch break, and I'd be like, well, you didn't even get a chance to get any food. He's like, oh, it's cool, I'm not even that hungry. He would take his lunch break and just come chill with me. He really should have brought us both some food, but okay. um, just putting it out there. So back to me and my voices. um, I was just really starting to like him. I was like, wow, he's just, he's everything, and he's such a nice guy to talk to. And what ended up happening, I started hearing this voice in my head, and it was like, he's got a girlfriend. I was like, what? So I went to him and I was like, hey, you have a girlfriend? He was like, who you been talking to? I was like, well, I know things. I don't know everything. I'm nobody's psychic. Um, God knows I am nobody's psychic. But sometimes I just know things, and I don't know how. It, I guess it's something that came from my grandmother's side of the family. I don't know everything, because if I knew everything, I'd already be a billionaire. But I guess it was just like warnings and stuff like that about certain things. And he was like, well, have you talked to somebody? How did you know that information? I was like, I just know, like, you're seeing somebody and you have a child with that person. And he was like, okay, I do, but I'm not understanding how you know this. And I was like, do you live with her? He was like, yeah. So who do you know? And I was like, I don't know anybody. This is what I'm feeling. Like, you're in a relationship with a woman, you have a child. And he was like, okay, I do. And I was like, so what is all of this about? Like, you've been coming to my job and talking to me on lunch break and all that. And I always thought it was kind of strange. Like, he never asked me for my phone number as well, which I kind of like that he didn't ask me for my phone number. I'm like, if you want to see me, you want to talk to me, I'm saying show up to where I'm at. Like, you know, I don't want to just be wasting time on the phone with you. So I was cool that he wasn't asking for my phone number, which I should have saw that as a red flag though. But anyways, he said, yeah, we are together. It's just not really working out, and I'm not really happy with her. And I said, oh, okay, well, I think that's something that you should figure out, before you start, talking to other women and telling them how you feel about them, because this can get messy really fast. And he was like, yeah, you're right. So like 2 weeks goes by, and I see him. He comes by my job on like a Friday. He's like, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, so this is what I want to do. He was like, I really am not happy. He was like, and I keep thinking about you, and I want to be with you. And this is what I want to do. I just want like us to get our place together. I want us to find an apartment. And I was like, what? And he was just like, I want us to find an apartment and be together, because I'm not happy. And I feel like you could really make me happy. Again, the voice starts talking in my head, and it's like, wait a minute. So in order for you to break up with her, you're saying that you need a new place to live first. He was like, well, yeah, because I live with her right now. So if I leave her, I don't have a place to go. So then we aren't even in a relationship. And you mean to tell me that I need to go and get an apartment with a man I just met so he can leave a relationship with his child's mother? I said to him, I said, that's really layered. We don't know each other well enough to know we're even going to work together. I said, also, you have a child with this woman. Now, that's going to cause problems in your relationship with your child, because I said to him, I'm picking up that she's petty. He was like, who are you talking to? I was like, I don't know. And again, this doesn't happen to me all the time. Like, I'm not like, I'm channeling something. I don't know. I can't explain how I know these things. And I don't know everything. Just occasionally in my life, I'll be doing something, and then downloads of information come to me. So it was probably good that it did happen. I say it was God and his discernment, praise God, because I could have really gotten caught up in some mess. So he had a daughter, and I was like, I think this is going to cause a problem. I think that, your girl is going to find out that you left her for a new chick, and it's going to be an issue, and she's probably going to hold your daughter against you. And he was like, how do you know how she behaves and how she acts? I said, that's how a lot of people act. I said to him, I said, so she makes you unhappy? He says, yes. I said, does she still cook for you, clean for you, wash your clothes, and sleep with you? He says, what? I said, are you sleeping with her? Is she cooking dinner for you? Is she taking good care of your daughter? He was like, I mean, yeah, she's still cooking and cleaning, and we still sexing or whatever, but I'm just not happy. I said, okay, she's doing everything she's supposed to be doing in the relationship for you. I think that you need to put a little bit more time and energy into her as well. I said, I want you to go sit down with her, talk with her, and figure out what this is, what's going on. Let her know what you're feeling, what you're missing. I said, because she's still there. She's taking care of you. She's taking care of the house. She's taking care of the child. She's still sleeping with you, and you're thoroughly enjoying what you're getting in the bedroom. So I'm going to need you to go put your focus on fixing what's broken in that relationship and stop talking to women who are going to help you complicate whatever this situation is, and you're going to complicate their life. And he was like, dang, it's like that. And I'm like, it's like that. He was like, well, you actually give, that's good advice. And I'm like, because if y'all not communicating properly, say that, work on that. Relationships are not something of fairy tales that you just get into and everything's just going to be great. No, you get into relationships and you realize people get on your nerves. Like, why are you chewing that way? I'm always on my husband. I'd be like, I love you, but why are you chewing like that? And he'd be looking at me sometimes. He'd be like, that is so unattractive, Corinna. I'd be like, yeah, and I did it on purpose. I'd be like, so you see little things about each other. You're just like, God, like I love you, but you just But that's common. That's normal. You share a room with this person. You share a closet. You share your bathroom. You share everything with this person. You're bound to get on each other's nerves a little bit. So that's how I dealt with him. I told him to keep it packing. I wanted no parts of the situation, and that I felt like instead of complicating things, you need to go work on your situation. And so, never seen him again. And that's
That
what
was
happened.
for the best.
I think it was for the best. And I also told him, and I said, so you're showing me that when I don't do things that you want me to do, when we're in a really bad, place in our relationship, that you're gonna be out here, holding auditions and getting new apartments and signing new leases. So
Mm-mm.
I just don't need it.
Too funny.
All right. So the next question is, Chan was going out of his way to point out how pathetic those men in the room were. Do you think he was throwing shade to show her he was the only man good enough for her? Absolutely. Again, we've talked a little bit about that with people trying to like make other people look bad so then they would shine the brightest. Chan was definitely like, you don't need nothing in this room. I shine brighter than everything else. I got what you need, sis. Like he was really he was selling himself by putting them down, pointing out how, pathetic people were, or how they were leading with their resumes of accomplishments to get these women interested in them. And he just wanted to let her know, like, you don't have to do all that. Like, mm-mm. So yeah, he was throwing shade.
Yeah, this is honestly a pet peeve of mine that not only men but women do also
Yes.
is down other people to
Mm-hmm.
heighten who they perceive that they are, and to me it's like, why don't you let who you are speak for yourself? Even if you do feel like they shouldn't be doing whatever they're doing and you might be better than them in many ways, it's not on you to speak on that, because it just shows an over inflated ego, like it's okay to talk about, what you can bring to the table, but
Right.
I mean, your actions should really, speak for themselves. When things are overstated, it kind of makes me like, why are you laying
Yeah,
it on so thick? Like, it's like a cover up. It's like you're doing
it
too much.
is.
It's like smoke and mirrors. Like you're trying to you're trying to throw me off somewhere. You're doing
Mm-hmm.
too much too soon. So it was really distasteful of Chan. Because I felt like
Mm-hmm.
it was just unnecessary.
Right.
For him to even
Flexing for no
have to do
reason.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, and you brought up a really good point. Like, men don't just do this; women do it too. Like, and I particularly notice, like, when it's like somebody's from a different region, they'd be like, yeah, because y'all out here, y'all do things this way. And where I'm from, and I get like different places, people do things differently. But I feel like people will try to throw things out there like, I'm from here and we do totally different because you're trying to throw shade. And it's like, you're trying to exalt yourself by taking a dump on everybody else. Or people like, folks out here, because I feel like the people who do all of that are just like everybody else who they're talking bad about. You're average, maybe even below. Um,
Best.
at best. I feel like regions don't make you part of the country that you're born in. That doesn't make you. It has. it shapes you, but your core beliefs and values of who you are as a human being, that comes from like who you want to be. That comes from like, I want to be a good person. I'm gonna make good decisions. I'm gonna try to be ethical. I'm gonna try to, you know, lead the way that I think maybe God would be pleased, or my grandparents, or my parents, or whatever. Somebody that other people can look at and be like, you know what, so and so is a good person. So that's not something that you get from a region. That's something that you get from you, from who you want to be. And yeah, it's a big turnoff when people toot their horns like that, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody doing it like me. I like we laugh and we joke like that, like girl, But like for real, I'm not gonna be out here stating the obvious.
Thank you.
I always tell people, you know what I'm saying? When it's obvious, you don't have to state the obvious. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
you're an amazing person, I don't have to tear down not one other woman in the room or around here, around town, I don't care. Like I've noticed I'll be sitting amongst people, and I can always tell when like relationships are not going to work with people. When every time you have to like mention your friend, oh, the one who got her boobs done, oh, the one that got the BBL, or the one whose tracks are always showing, that's throwing shade. And you might turn around and throw. She makes really good potato salad. She just had a new baby. Oh, the one whose boyfriend always cheats on her. I caught that. hmm
Mhm.
Because first and foremost, you be saying stuff in front of people that don't have no business knowing that person's business. I don't need to know what somebody had done to their body or if they man is out there being faithful or unfaithful. So people throw shade at folks, you know. And I love my family, but my family, they know how to throw some shade, honey. They are the kings and queens of that shade. And I'd be like, oh no, I'm from you people? And Carrie A's laughing because she knows my people throw shade. And I'm like, oh no. And maybe that's why I'm so anti, like, I don't like that kind of stuff. It bothers me. It bothers me that you have to tear other people down to make yourself feel good. I don't think it's an attractive quality. I like people who are just like humble, but they know their worth. Like I love it and so when this is another thing, people feel like when you know who you are, that's arrogance or it's cockiness. Nah. Mm-mm. That's knowing who you are. That's knowing what you bring out here to the streets or whatever arena that you're providing services for. You know who you are, and you don't have to be arrogant. You don't have to brag about it, but you stand in your power. Like there's a power of knowing, you know, where it's like there's a knowing. You don't have to flex on nobody else. We could do the exact same thing. And I'm always gonna give you love. I'm always gonna give you respect. I'm always gonna praise you for your greatness. I'm not the only person out here writing books and doing a podcast. Like I'm not. There's other people I follow. There's other books that I read. I read Curia's books. I read other authors' books because I enjoy them. I enjoy what they produce, and I enjoy their work. I'm not the only person out here doing that. You know what I mean? It's okay to congratulate other people. It's okay to, praise other people for what they have going on. Baby, just be humble because God give it and He also can take it. And I've seen Him take it. You know, be humble.
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Our next question is: do you think Malia was worried that Mike would find her sitting at the bar alone and continue what they had started? I was wondering about that myself. Like, what, she just went out there like Mike wasn't just going to walk out the door and see her standing over there. But I think, I think Malia fully anticipated going out there. He was lost in the crowd. Maybe he possibly thinks she left. She could just sit there for a minute, get a couple of drinks, hopefully phone Eva, and then dip out. When you're in that kind of heated, frantic situation, you're not necessarily thinking things through. Because I would have jumped in the Uber and just text Eva like I had to get out. Sorry, I couldn't do it no more.
You know, a part of me feels like Malia was down in the bar, but part of me feels like she was like, I wish he would show up. Part of me feels like I'm gonna have my white wine Moscato. Like I'm gonna have that. And I wish Mike shows, but I'll light him up again. Like I think Malia was like, I'm ready for round 3. What you got on that? Like I really feel like she was like, if he show up again, like, and I ain't had a little bit of liquid courage. Oh, we about to light this place. We don't care about nobody calling my mama talking about some. Your daughter was at the Nine Hotel, and her and Prince Michael got into it again.
Michael.
Prince Michael. I don't care about nothing about Victoria or whoever coming and calling. Talking about something, and you got to get your daughter under control because Malia is in public making a scene, and we're getting phone calls, and her and Mike are arguing. I don't care. Malia was. I feel like if he showed up one more time, she was gonna have his whole head off. Like it's coming off because you see what she was giving to Noah, and she was being nice.
Right.
Could you imagine if Mike would have came back through again?
Oh
Mike
yeah.
would have been chopped up liver, honey, and onions. Like, stop playing with me, okay? You're
Good
you're
point.
you're, you're not you're not a changed man. You back on that BS. Like you're
Right.
back to do the same thing again, sir. Like just leave me alone. And I feel like that's what she was really on. It's just sickening when a person just can't get it. And he's stalking her too, essentially. How many stalkers does one person need at one time?
Right. No means
How does
no.
that cancel out? Like, how does that cancel? I remember taking chemistry classes and figuring out charges, this like charges can cancel each other out. Why is this not canceling each other out? Two stalkers should equal a negative. Like, it's not happening. It's like, come on, folks. Come on. Give the girl a break. I'm exhausted formally. I don't even know her. I just couldn't imagine, anybody going through all the work and the yeah, yeah, it would be a lot. It would be a lot. So I'll go on to the next question. It says, Malia seemed so sad and vulnerable at the bar. Do you think she will reach out to a professional at some point and talk with someone about her feelings? Malia did seem very sad at the bar. I just think it's the weight of everything. And that's not making excuses, that's being honest. I think the weight of everything that she's been experiencing with um, her and her father's relationship. Hi, Yara. I just think that with the weight of everything that's happening in her life, that it makes clear sense to be a little sad, to be vulnerable. Will she reach out to someone for professional help? I don't know, to be honest. I would also just say, going back to culturally speaking, in the African American community, people really don't do that. We don't really seek out professional help the way that we should. It's kind of like discouraged. Like, in an earlier episode, Kyrie had talked about keeping people at your business, and that's still definitely a philosophy that many of us hold. And I'm going to say that for anybody out there who's studying psychology or studying to be a counselor on any level and you're a person of color, do it. Do it, please. We need more people of color in that field who can counsel, who can give support, because people are looking for people who are like themselves, who have similar experiences. And I'm not saying that like a person who's non-black can't be of assistance to me, can't help me. They can, but there are some things that you're just not going to fully be able to understand. If I'm dealing with things that are ingrained and tied to my race, and you're telling me, don't focus on that. I don't have to focus on it. And I don't. I wake up every day and I'm just Corenna. You know, I wake up every day and I don't feel any different from anybody else. I'm just me. It's when I go out is when I know that I'm different. When you get followed around the store, and I'm like, why do I get followed around by store security? So I don't even usually carry a purse. Like, what am I supposed? How am I supposed to be stealing? What am I gonna do? Am I stuff it in my bra? Like, what am I doing? You know. So when people treat you differently, is when you know that okay, you're a little different from other people, which is fine because honey, God didn't make no mistakes over here. Amen. Okay, but I feel like I've been in situations with people and I've talked to them and just like people like professionals that I know from different jobs or different things, and certain topics come up and they can't connect to that topic and they start to be very judgmental with their way of thinking. Like there's a lady that I was speaking to and she was saying, the kids here at the school, they just act up and they use the N-word, and I'm like, she's just like, nobody should be using this word, and she's just so passionate about it, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just looking at her like, I'm not even going to have a discussion with you about this word. You're not a part of the community. You're not invited to the cookout. She was like, I have male friends and they're black and they don't use that type of language. They look down on that type of language. Okay, good for them. All right. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, you can't connect to that. Some black people don't use it, and some black people do. And I'm not upset or offended if you do. A lot of people grew up in our households using certain things, and like you don't say it in public, but you can say. I'm kind of like, whenever it needs to come out, it needs to come out. I'm just like whatever at this point. 'Cause I'm like, who am I capping for these days? Who gonna check me, boo? Like that's what we at. That's what me and Kiri always be on the phone. Like, who gonna check me? I really want to know because I haven't met one person on this planet who's been able to check me because I don't have to put up with you. Okay, so with that being said, mental health is a big deal, and when you're going through extreme stress, it would be nice to talk to somebody who looks like you, who has your experience, who understands that level of pressure. Because I don't know what people's thought process is, to be honest. When they encounter people of color, sometimes I've been asked some really stupid questions that are like, so it starts off as a nice question and it flips to something backhanded, where it's like, "You have beautiful children. Do they all have the same father?" Wait, what? What did you say? And I thought it was just me living in this very small percentage of African American community, getting these really weird comments. And I saw black women online saying, "No, this is a problem." People will come up to you and say, "Oh, your baby is beautiful. Is you know, do all your kids have the same dad?" Why are you even asking that question? I looked at these two older ladies, and I was like, "Yes, all of my children have the same father, and I'm married. I had my ring on that day, so I flashed." And you're like, "Oh, so is the man that you're married to? Is he your children?" What are you like? I couldn't believe I was being questioned on this level. I don't know if a person who's non-black would be able to be like, "I get it, sis." Like they'd be like, "What?" Like they may be kind of shocked. Like that really happened. So I don't know if Malia will talk with somebody. Hopefully she will. I think that when you're going through hurts and pains and trials and tribulations, going back to them good old church days, um, having somebody to talk to, having somebody to connect with, having someone who can give you new perspective, new focus. Like every time I call Carrie A up and I have a problem and I'm like, "Here my family goes again." And I'm giving her the juice, I'm giving her the tea. She's always like, "That's gonna make a really good book." That's always her response. I'm like, "What?" It's the funniest thing because she's like, "Corinna, that's wild. We got to figure out a way to put that in Rose City." Like she'd be cracking me up, and I'd be like, "Well, yeah, that would make a good story." So just having somebody you can talk to, whether it's your friends, whether it's a professional, I definitely think having a professional around helps. And if you can talk to anybody, then go talk to anybody. I think it's great. I've talked to somebody before, and she was very helpful, but it did get to that point where I was like, I need to be able to talk about some things and be able to say what I need to say. And I don't want to offend you as the counselor. And I know the counselors have probably heard it all, but I still try to be a polite person. Like I don't know if you're going to be able to fully grasp all of what I'm having to say and not feel like I'm blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the institution. I'm blaming systemic problem. That's what I'm blaming. I ain't blaming you because you may not be doing nothing. But there are some people out there who are doing some things to make life difficult for other people. And so I just didn't feel like I could go there with her. So I couldn't continue on. She's a fabulous person. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree. And I don't think Malia is going to get seek out for professional help for those reasons exactly. And then she's also in Rose City, and in the community of Rose City, everybody knows everybody. So it's like, and even with Mike being back, and just like everybody's connected some type of way. So could you imagine being able to go and talk to somebody within your community and not expect information to get out? You wouldn't be able to be honest, you wouldn't be able to be vulnerable. And another thing you touched on, even if you can't find professional help, because sometimes the professionals just can't help you. Find somebody to talk to, like Karina said, somebody that you can confide in, somebody that you feel free with, that, you can have that vulnerability to get the results that you need, whether that's a friend, whether that's an auntie, or, just somebody that, you just feel that connection with, so you can get the help that you need. So,
I fully
but other
agree.
than that, I think you touched on everything perfectly.
And also, I'm going to say, like, I feel like I be cracking up. I sometimes I go back and I watch the podcast, and I'll be like, "Karina, you are so crazy, girl. You just be acting up. And I feel like because I'm so free to be myself with my friends, like with my family, I'm able to really be me. Like this is would be like if y'all were, here in the living room with me, like this is how we talk, this is how we behave, this is how we act, And I can't be free like that with everybody. And it's like weird because like everybody's gonna be able to watch this. However, you ain't here. Like 'cause right now I'm just looking at my girl and we are able to just be free with each other. And it feels really good because for so long, you know, always having to put up these fronts and these walls of perfection. There is no perfectionism over here. Okay. I'm doing the best I can do and it's not perfect. Hi, Isaac. Hi. Yes, right. Get all them lips. Hi, princess. But where we can really be ourselves. A lot of times people can't be themselves. And I remember there was like having a conversation and somebody was saying somebody sounded like Cardi B or whatever. And it's like you should be able to be like free with your friends. You should be able to talk your mess with each other without being like, why do you sound like that? It's like, let me be me. Let me just be like free to be wild and talk my madness and laugh and joke. Because again, in order to be successful, you have to be a balanced human being. You can't just always live your life on a 10. You know what I mean? You can't always just live in the ratchet. That's part of it. But there's some class too. There's got to be a level of professionalism. You got to, you have to be an entrepreneur. You got to do what you have to do. You have to be focused on the things that you have going on. And I love the fact that we've cultivated something where we allow each other to have that space to be free. You know, I might be ratchet one moment and I'm maybe super professional all up in my book. Like, okay, so I was reading the guidelines and then the IRS is saying that we have to have blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can have different parts of yourself come out and, you have your business side and, you got to know the laws and the rules for your industry. And so don't get it confused. I think a lot of people get it confused because like coming from the Northwest, they hear you talk a certain way and they be like, oh, so-and-so will push over. You want to try? You want to try that? This ain't gonna end well. You ain't got anything you want to add? She's like, no, that's okay. I'm trying to get back to this cantaloupe. My cat's over here walking around doing stuff she ain't got no business doing. All right, all. Thank you for watching this episode of Rose City The After Show. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 15. Don't forget to tune in next week. We will be diving into episode 16. If you haven't already read the book, what you waiting for? The first 3 episodes are free to give you a little taste on Kindle Vella. So there's no reason for why you're not checking the story out. We are sure you'll be hooked as we are. New episodes are being published every single week. We are already on episode 37. So get in the story, sis. Get in the story. We love to hear from our readers, so please add your thoughts, questions, and theories to the comments or reach out to us on Rose City, the After Show on Facebook. All links will be provided in the description. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time in Rose City. Bye.